Hi, my visitors. Thank you for visiting today. Today, I will be asking the cards for a message that will boost your spirits. So, what could be a message that may boost your spirits today? The way this will work is that I will draw 2 cards from this deck, and whichever image that you feel more drawn to, that may be the reading for you today. I will also be selecting some objects to place corresponding to each of these cards in case you need some help in deciding which you would like to choose. So for our first card, we have coffee. And for the second card, we have tea. What a nice little dichotomy here. Are you a coffee drinker, a tea drinker? Maybe both, maybe neither. Well, whichever one of these energies you feel more attracted to today, you can find the reading for that down in the description box. There will be some timestamps that you can click on. And if you want to wait for the objects, feel free to stick around. So for those of you who have been wanting an object to help you decide which of these readings to choose, I have selected 2 objects. They're both teas. Clearly, I'm not a coffee drinker. For the coffee card, I have this tea in an orange-brown packet. It's Earl Grey black tea. It says, brighten up your day with the distinctive taste and aroma of this classic tea. And for those of you who are more drawn to this object, I have the green tea classic decaffeinated. Our signature green tea, green blend enlivens the earthy flavors of this delicate tea. Feel free to take your time, pause if you need to, and I'll see you in your readings. Hello, listeners who chose reading number 1. Today, your reading is centered around coffee, this coffee card. And I will be requesting of the cards, what is a message that will boost your spirits? Right off the bat, if you are a coffee drinker, you enjoy your coffee, I invite you to take a sip of that with me here today. Maybe this is a sign that if you're feeling a little low on energy, maybe some coffee might help boost your energy levels and help you feel more prepared for the rest of your day, if it's the beginning of your day. Or maybe it's saying that if you used to love coffee, perhaps, and have taken a break from it, it doesn't necessarily mean you should go back to coffee, but I think it means like consider what's given you zest for life. What has helped you with your energy? What has felt really lively? What makes you want to like move or like feel really connected with the world? That is what I'm seeing right off the bat. I'm going to ask my tarot cards, are there more nuances to this energy that you want to add today? What can add to this message to help bolster our listeners' spirits today? What is something that would be nice to hear? I think this top card wants to come out. we have the Two of Cups. So the Two of Cups has been showing up a lot recently. It is about partnership and a sense of equal but opposites. It's very fulfilling, and yet there are hardships too. But through it all, in the Two of Cups, this couple stay really bonded to each other and work through their problems. So with the coffee and the Two of Cups, again, I think the energy is what fills your cup? Where can you invite more of that into your life? Maybe part of this message could be find a buddy, find someone you've always enjoyed, or if there are supportive people in your life right now, you can lean into that support. You don't have to stay in one place. I'm getting a lot of, like, with a coffee card here, there's a lot of action and dynamic, moving around, doing things, or going places or exploring. It doesn't necessarily mean literally like going out, but maybe just even mentally, if you've been feeling a little bit in a rut recently, this could be part of the soothing message today. You can live your life with the support that you need. So I'm going to ask the cards now more about this message. I want to ask maybe, what is something that might be holding you back from fulfilling this boosting of spirits? I think I'll do that over here, and then I'll draw another card later for how can you be invited to lean more into this energy. Oh, alrighty. These wanted to come out. That looks like more than 2 cards, but that's okay. So this one answers the question I was asking. I think this last one will be here. And this one, we might save it for more context. We'll see if we need it. So what might be holding you back from embracing your liveliness today? We have the 9 of Swords. I see what might look like some kind of a betrayal here, or grief. Something that has hurt you maybe, but I also see you rising above it. I don't actually know the story behind this card, so I will look it up and see if that gives me more insights. But like, just from the energy of this card right now, that is what I'm getting. There's really heavy pain. 9 swords is a lot of swords. It feels like either you've been harmed very deeply in the past, or maybe you even have inflicted a lot of pain. And simultaneously, there's this other side as well of like a sense of maybe justice or like karma. Yeah. It could also be a sense of distancing from people around you. Maybe that history or that expectation is what's holding you back from being able to, again, lean into the supports you have in order to feel more alive. Yeah, let me look up the story. Okay, so this is a depiction of part of the tale of Oedipus. I'm not super sure I'm pronouncing that correctly. I don't know much about it other than the Oedipus complex, but which is not really real, probably. Anyway, the explanation that the booklet gives is that Oedipus's father was told by an oracle that his son may later overthrow him. So he ended up, instead of raising him out of love, he raised him out of hate, or maybe even pushed him away. And so, again, what I'm sensing from this card, which I didn't explain too much of, is this sense of justice here, and also, as the booklet explains in itself, there's a lot of anxiety present in the card. Oedipus's father was acting out of a lot of fear and pushing people away rather than embracing them. And so I do get that idea of like karmic retribution, how you act around the world, how like your beliefs about yourself and how you are with other people will come back around, because it's really difficult to, for example, if you're the one pushing someone away, it's really difficult on the other side to really feel secure or feel like you can sort of develop and deepen the relationship with a person who feels like they're pushing you away, right? Just as an example. So I think what's been holding you back is a lot of fear, and it may be very grounded fear, like maybe in the past you've been hurt and maybe your behavior around perhaps pushing people away or hurting them comes from that. And that is what is difficult for you to maybe find this sense of enjoyment and trust in the moment in your relationships. Yeah, maybe that's kind of what this is speaking to. So with that being said, my coffee listeners, what is this deck inviting you to consider to move forward and feel more free in your relationships in your life? We have the High Priestess card. The High Priestess is about sort of taking some time to be in your own presence, to really consider your life, your subconscious. What is behind what you have been, the ways that you have been acting? What is behind all of that fear and anxiety that causes you to maybe reject some people who love you? And where can you find more of this liveliness? And maybe it's not necessarily with people. Maybe it's with yourself or with nature or something of that sort. But I think because these cards are all very, at least this one at the bottom is very relationship centric, and so is this one, although in a different way. I suspect that for those of you watching, it is very likely to do with the people in your life and how you feel with them. And maybe the answer is that these people might not be safe for you. These people might be people who live with a lot of hate and like that pushing people away, it could be them doing that and not necessarily you. And so this card is inviting you to consider that, to maybe tell the tales of what it is that has been happening, why you feel this way, until you feel like you know it better, that the mysteries are a little more clear to you. Yeah, because the High Priestess card, I also think of it as like inviting you in because she is a storyteller. And so maybe you can become that storyteller in your life to figure out what is going on, or to feel more alive, feel like you have more meaning and control in what is happening. Yeah, I do want to look at this last card to see if I'm missing anything about this situation. I know that my prompt for the deck was something that will boost your spirits, right? And this feels like it's guiding you to some more self-reflection in order to boost your spirits. But let me see if there's some more here. We have the Eight of Swords. Yeah, that's really heavy. I do think this doubles down on the sense of sort of taking some time to yourself to heal from what you've been through. It doesn't need to be by yourself, but find a safer place to be and stay there for a little while, because you've been very hurt. All of these swords, the Eight and the Nine of Swords. You've been very hurt by the people around you that you cared about, or maybe they even also cared about you. With the fact that coffee is in the center though, and you chose the coffee card, I do think that liveliness, that I just keep repeating lively because I can't think of another word, but really it's like that joy and excitement about life, the wanting to go out and do things or learn things or see things, that curiosity about other people, the feelings of like joy and like you're part of this great thing. You're part of the world in a way that feels good to you. You're happy to be existing in the world in the way that you are, however you're existing. That sort of sense is the central part of your reading. And I think the fact that you've chosen this, maybe part of the message is this is within you. You may need to do a little bit of work to find it again. You may need to sort of move towards an environment that is more suitable to you, or people that are more suitable to you, in order to find more of it. But it is within you. Yeah. A question that just came to my mind, if you want to ask yourself questions, is what was the last thing that brought you excitement or joy? It can be the tiniest thing. It might be your coffee in the morning, you know. But like when those little moments happen, I know it's a bit of a cliche, but like you can lean into them. You can be more present in them when they happen. Even if there's a lot of bad things going on in the world around you, perhaps you're, I think, being invited to sort of shift that attention to what brings joy. And this is very similar to a reading I did in the last video, actually. So you may want to check that out as well. Yeah. And now for the last part of this reading, I will be drawing from a different deck to see if it has more to say about how to boost your spirits, or a message that might help boost your spirits today. Autumn. Slow down and reflect. How fitting too, because it is, the end of the summer, the beginning of autumn, very soon. We are in that time of year as well. I find it interesting too that this card is the first one in this deck. Somehow I'm thinking of the number one as in like, prioritize this for yourself, because maybe you haven't been able to slow down and reflect for a while. And with this moth, I am thinking of transformation, as moths and butterflies do. Taking time, cocoon up a little bit, find your little hidey hole, or for some reason I thought of like your room or your car, or somewhere that feels safe and cozy, somewhere that is yours, your cave. Even if you don't have a literal place, it could be like, I'm thinking of like the in-between sort of spaces, like if you commute to work, like on a bus or on a train, or in the in-between moments of your life, because there are a lot of those. In your shower, maybe, for example. Yeah, to really just remember to exist. I think that is the message here. It's about existing. Without expectation, without feeling like, oh no, I have to go do the next thing. Like coffee can help with that. But in the way that this card is drawn, I really do think more about, again, that energy, feeling alive rather than doing things or being productive. Being productive is, it's necessary in this world, but it's also so overrated. Yeah. So that's what I think this reading has for you, listener, my coffee listener. This reading has been saying, slow down and reflect, because you need that time for yourself, and it's good to take that time for yourself. Please do what you need to feel okay right now. So, in the spirit of this reading, dear listener, I invite you to, once you're done here, to take even just 1 minute or 5 minutes or however long you need, and just sit there, stand there, walk. Take a moment to be off your screens and sort of be with your thoughts, be with your feelings. If that's a little too difficult, I understand. Again, if you do have safe people to be around, you can maybe reach out to them. Maybe even if they're not there, you can do so from your heart. Think of them. Think of the good times you've had. And for yourself, just sort of sit in that. And you might find that it does end up making you feel better about things, slowing down. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this reading, feel free to leave a like or a comment, and subscribe to this channel if you would like more of my readings. Thank you so much for coming here today. Yeah, I don't take that for granted. All right, see you next time. Hello, my green tea listeners. So, in this reading today, I will be requesting from the cards a message for you that will boost your spirits, help you feel a little more lifted up today. So, as I figured out what I wanted to do in the first reading, what I'm going to do, just to give you a little outline, is that I will draw a tarot card here, which kind of gives me more context along with the T card as to what your message might be. And then here, for maybe what is something that might be holding you back from really leaning into this message and finding the uplifting part of it. And here, for how you might be invited to be able to sort of feel more uplifted about this message. All right, and then at the very end, I will probably draw another card just to see how things go and round things out. Okay, so with that being said, let me begin. I find it so interesting that this card has very distinct watermarks from cups. Oh, that reminds me, something that I invited the first reading to do as well is if you felt drawn towards this reading and tea, and you have tea at home, and you enjoy tea, I invite you to brew a cup of that and come back with it. Maybe sip it while you watch. Or if you have any plants in your home that you want to tend to, yes, this reading is for you, dear listener. Okay, so what is some context that I think this first card came out? That will be the context. Okay, let's take a look at that first, actually. So we have this tea card, and then we have the Knight of Cups. Yeah, what calls out to me is that knights usually signify like forward action, like running into things. And while this person is on a horse, they are fairly stagnant. They're very powerful in their stance. Not necessarily powerful, but like they have a presence. It is in some ways powerful, but it's not powerful in terms of like ruling anything. It's more powerful out of like they command their elements. They know what they're good at. Yeah, let me look at the guidebook because I'm not familiar with this story. And maybe I'll read it to you actually. I'll show you the page. Let me put this here if I don't want to stay. And then, oh, sorry, I knocked some cards over. All right. So you have the Knight of Cups. All right, here we are. It's a Mongolian legend of Halabu the Hunter. The Knight of Cups is a messenger. Halabu is kind and gentle while also willing to take a stand for what he believes in. Halabu provides for his village, and after befriending a dragon, he willingly sacrifices himself to save everyone he loves. Keywords are chivalry, affection, invitations, taking action, and meaningful gifts. Yeah, it sounds like this person, how did I already forget his name? Halibu. Halibu is really well balanced in a lot of ways. You know, the Cups suit is about emotions, how people feel. And he is very, very grounded. And I think tea is also something that a lot of people will sort of use, like tea and coffee both, but tea more so because it's a little less caffeinated usually. Tea is like very much a ritual that some people might take in or partake in, whether it's to connect with people, like you know the British like tea afternoon tea kind of thing, or whether it's like in East Asian cultures, it's very much about connecting with family or with friends as well. Um, or just having a nice cup of tea to yourself to enjoy your afternoon or your evening, maybe to help you sleep. Tea like really draws out a lot of the effects of some of the leaves that are put in. I'm saying a lot of words, but I think it's because I'm not quite sure I see the connection between these two cards all that much right now, other than like that feeling of like stability. Maybe that's what something to do with the uplifting message these cards have for you today. Something about feeling stable emotionally and mentally. Even with the ocean spraying a little bit, or with spilling a bit of tea, your tea, or someone else spilling your tea, or you spilling tea and feeling embarrassed. Whatever it is, maybe it's about sort of coming back to that state of mental and emotional peace. Like the fact that Halibu was, he chose to sacrifice himself for everyone he cared about. I'm not saying that that's like relevant to you, or that you'll do that or you have to do that, but like the fact that he chose to says a lot about his stability. Like he knows what is important to him, he feels it very deeply, right? And he is making that choice with a clear mind. So yeah, let me ask the cards what might be preventing you from feeling this sort of peace or groundedness within yourself. What might you be missing, dear listener? Or what might be in your way? We have the Two of Wands. Let me also take a look at the guidebook and read it to you. But my initial impressions, I've drawn this card fairly recently, is that there's two different directions. This man has two faces, two heads. They're facing opposite directions. They often don't know which way to go. They're kind of indecisive. They end up going through the middle. Whether because they're tugging in different directions and they happen to step in that direction, or they come to an agreement to do it. And they're moving, they're transitioning somewhere. They're moving from one place to another. So my initial impression, given our reading so far, is maybe there's a lot of distractions that are tugging your attention in different directions and preventing you from being able to find that groundedness within yourself. Or maybe also something about your surroundings is changing. Even if you chose to make this change for yourself, it might still be a little bit potentially a little unsettling to you and sort of preventing you from feeling feeling that calm and that peace and that security in yourself or your surroundings for a little bit while the transition is happening. Yeah, let me see what the guidebook has to say for the Two of Wands. So, Two of Wands is a Roman myth about Janus. The Two of Wands represents travel and commerce. Janus, the god of doorways and transition, is able to look to the past and the future in order to make effective decisions. He is always in motion, connecting dreams with actual possibilities. Keywords are decisions, travel, business opportunities, future planning, and cooperation. So, yeah, I think that lines pretty well with what I've said so far. The fact that it is past and future does not change the fact that he does not quite, he exists in the present, but he isn't really looking in the present, he's always considering, well, given this that happened, and given that I want to be here, what should I do now? What is the best path there? And constantly working towards that path, maybe, or away from a past that he did not want, or maybe even towards, like, back around towards something that he had or that did happen in the past, or that he did have in the past that he wants to get back to. And so there's like this constant motion, and I think that attention being split may be what is preventing you from really being able to lean into what you know is true right now, what you feel right now, the things that you can enjoy right now. This has been a theme in my readings, this idea of presence. And yeah, I'm not sure why that is. I wonder if I'm like maybe reading too much of my own energy into here and my own desires to be present. So let me know if you ever find any different messages in my readings, because I'm always so curious to see what I may be missing that may be relevant for you. Yeah, so that is what I see right now. I think before I draw this card, I kind of want to draw a card here. I'm not super sure what my question is exactly, but I do feel like I want a bit more context, because so far this has been a little bit vague, and I want to know maybe more either about the way that this is hindering you right now, or rather maybe like why you feel this energy here with the Two of Wands, the looking constantly in the different directions, maybe being distracted by like different aspects of your life rather than paying a little more attention to what is right there right now. Yeah, I think I'll ask about that. So can you tell us more cards? Ooh. Okay, this is for if I need them later. This one was the card that popped out to me just now. What context can you give around this? We have the Ace of Swords. The sword suit is one of intelligence and sometimes pain. The Ace of Swords is more about the intelligence aspect. It's about being clever to make a solution. I'm imagining this sword sort of using it in a way to cut down this knot, maybe cut around it, coming up with a creative solution using your mind. And that is a really big knot, I think this sort of what this tells me is that you have in your situations, in your past, in your present, maybe in your projected future, you have a lot of knots in your life. You have a lot of like difficulties that are sort of thrown your way, and it feels like it's impossible to untangle. And so I think this energy is serving you in sort of predicting for a future that might be the best for you and finding what actions you can take now to maybe bypass this tangled energy a little bit, or at least make it easier for yourself to get through it. And so that's where this energy comes from. So given this, I want to know here, maybe like to feel more of this grounding today. What sort of are the cards inviting you to maybe do or consider? We have the High Priestess again. I'm getting so many repeat cards just in these few readings that I have done so far. It's pretty wild how the cards can do that. So the High Priestess is about reflection, sort of finding a safe and comfortable space, whether quite literally, but definitely emotionally, to consider why you do things a certain way. For some reason right now I'm thinking about the aspect of this card that is also about sort of keeping secrets to like for a purpose. You know, sometimes what you have subconsciously, it might be born of a lot of pain and fear from your past, and it's like a lot to try to think about that or reflect on that or unpack that. And so I think, yeah, for some reason, like usually I would say the opposite for the High Priestess when it comes out, but I think for you today, the High Priestess is coming up to say, you've done a lot of this, actually. You've been doing a lot of this sort of analysis of what it is you might want, what it is you're trying to avoid. And it's not saying to like stop all of it, but to sort of pull back a little bit. Come at that from less of a place of, oh, there's all these knots that I need to untie, and more from a place of acceptance, I guess. Like, things may be the way they are right now, and it's true that you can act to change things, but if you sort of feel into your day-to-day, your moment by moment, you can sort of learn to build or rebuild that mental, emotional clarity. That, like, I'm thinking of this ball of light that, you know, no matter how much darkness is there, no matter how much people try to throw at it, no matter how people try to pull it apart, it is always a ball of light. That is you. You have that in you. You might not feel it right now, but you have it. And I think that is what this is saying. As I was thinking about that ball of light, I noticed the moon here, the crescent moon, and I'm thinking about how the moon is like always there, even when we on Earth do not see it because of the light. It is always there, it is always round, you know? And I think that is the same about your inner spirit, your inner, like, unbreakable ball of light. So I think we don't need these cards for this reading. I think I will put them away. For this last box, I want to draw from my Oracle deck to see if there might be some additional perspective about how these cards, how your message is saying, is inviting you to lean more into that place of calm, peace, knowing, you know, just feeling like you can be yourself. All right, I think I have this card here. Grow. Take inspired action. I think what this card is saying, again, instead of how you might have done things in the past of overanalyzing situations to sort of try to find this optimal path, it's saying to lean more into what you're feeling, I think. Like, if you have the urge to do something and at worst you know that it wastes an afternoon, just do it. You're allowed to. You don't have to think that hard about it. It's an afternoon. You will have many more afternoons. I really hope. You will have many more afternoons to do with as you will, to work on your projects that you know need to happen, to help unravel your life into something manageable and something you want. But at the same time, your present exists. You're allowed to sort of feel like you are here and enjoying the here and now. So grow. You have some growth to do in this direction. It's very manageable is the feeling that I'm getting. The shift from here to here is not so far for you, dear T listener. I'm experimenting with different phrases to see what I like. But yes. And now I'm wondering about whether I have more to say here. There's the moon here as well. Yeah, I do wonder about that. There's the moons here. This looks kind of like daytime or sunset to me. Yeah, so I think you're being invited to let go of your desire to control how things go a little bit. Not completely, but just sort of loosen your hold on that rope or that idea. And sort of feel how you're feeling and take more of your action based on these little moments where you feel something. Be a little less in your head here. With the two heads, that's double the brains and double the thoughts and analysis, you know. Come out of that a little bit and find more of that balance between thinking and feeling here. Thinking, feeling, and maybe doing or existing. There's three hands in this image and three little coffee circles or tea circles. Sorry, teacup circles as well, which is really interesting to me. Yeah, that's a nice connection. Yeah, something else that sort of calls out to me from all these cards, in case this might feel correct for you, is that there's a lot of nature imagery in here. There's these flowers, there's the lake, the tea, obviously, green tea as well. To me, green is just, the color of bountiful nature. The ocean, the animals, being in the ocean, or these flowers again, the moons, the what is this? The clouds. Um, all of this is very uh, nature oriented. And so, if this resonates with you, dear listener, maybe one way that is pretty simple, but might help you get out of your head, is just being in nature for a little bit more than you do right now. Like something about being there, um, looking at the flowers or the sunset, or looking for the moon, taking a walk, just standing there even and seeing what is happening in the world around you, or interacting with nature, tending to things, or touching some plants. All of that can help you feel into the moment more and think a little bit less. So, your message today for some to lift your spirits a little is I see that you are on the right path. You are doing what you know needs to be done and what you want to be done. And so I think here the sort of positive thing that the cards want you to know is that you don't have to hold on so tight to these ideas that you have. You can sort of relax a little bit and let things go a little bit and sort of do what you want a little bit more. You are smart and creative and capable. You can make this like these tiny little shifts in your day-to-day, and that will help you feel so much better, so much more aligned, peaceful, like at peace. Again, nurturing your little ball of light, dear listener. So yeah, that is what I see in these cards today for you. Let me know if this resonated with you. Feel free to drop a comment. If you liked this reading for you today, also feel free to thumbs up this video. And remember to subscribe to the channel if you want to see more readings. I am really grateful that you're here with me today. These were some really pleasant readings to deliver. I hope you have a good one. Bye.